Nebraska loses last night to they lost to Michigan on the road, gave up almost 100 points in doing so, but did not. Kept it shy of triple digits.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, good job, Nebraska. Way to go. Proud of you.
Hey, you got the team right, though.
I did.
You're struggling with
the team.
Here's the deal.
You spaced out really bad.
You brought up Penn State, and I thought they played Maryland. They played Wisconsin last night, and so my brain was frazzled there for a second. And now we're back. They lost to Michigan, a place they never play well in. They never play well at Michigan when Nebraska's good. When they're bad, they have issues in Ann Arbor. And it happened last night.
Michigan's interesting to me.
Because there's only like 1,000 people at the game. That was interesting to me. There was no one there. There was no one at the game. Wednesday.
They're legitimately in second place in the Big Ten, tied for second place, and they're not a tournament team right now.
Yeah, they were saying they're out. They were doing the projection thing, right. And DeCourcy had them as of last night, still during the game, out of the tournament.
14-10.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, 14-10. But again, there's 1,000 people at the game. That was astonishing.
It was more than 1,000. You're exaggerating.
And whatever you look up on the World Wide Web is wrong. Now, there was the fake numbers. Of
the attendance numbers were.
Yes.
It said it was 94% capacity last night at Michigan.
No, it was.
Bill says no.
I'm saying it was 9%. Right at 9.
It
was. The announcer said numerous times. It's crickets.
Right.
They did comment on the quietness.
Yeah.
And said that it's up to the team to provide things to root for. Said they're up by 20 points. How are you not rooting for them? Yeah. How are you not cheering for them?
Yeah,
they won like 30-something to.
It was a 30-5 run early on in the first half, and Nebraska was dead. Then they got down to 12 at halftime.
Nice,
but it got down to I think 9 points in the second half too, 10 or 9, and then they lose by 21 points, 93-72. Let's hold off that for 1 second. We want to get to Idle Chit Chat before we get more into Nebraska basketball. It's important. Idle Chit Chat, sponsored by Newton's Lawn Care. Call them today at 402-440-6297 to get a free quote for 2023 lawn fertilizer program. And Bill, you got
on the
topic
free,
today.
On the free quote also, they'll be walking around your backyard within hours.
Really?
Yeah, within hours. It's incredible.
Walking around your backyard.
So I went through that about, we started talking about the GOAT conversation came up, and we touched on this a little bit late with football. We're talking about some things with football and how certain people can be during their era, the Earl Campbell era. We discussed. That's when we got into the real one, because I did do a lot of research last night, and everyone pretty much sticks with what I had said, that on the quarterbacks right there, it's Brady, Pastorini, Montana. Those
Pastorini's too. Yeah. Dan Pastorini, number 2. Oh, what do we got here?
So I have a story. So one of my
idle chit.
One of my unbelievably talented players, McCade Brady from Utah. So we did when the year we won 11 games, like that, Potato Bowl champions, like that. You can show the picture. Like
what year are we talking, please?
This is about 2012, 2013.
So not that long ago.
And so we always had to do for every game day, you had to take there was a quiz you took for preparation for the game. In that was always intertwined Houston Oiler history. That was always intertwined. And you can see a picture of me doing that test right now. Where's the picture?
Yeah, I'll pull it. I'll show people on the screen.
We have a picture of me.
You are an Oilers fan.
Yeah, and this is at the bowl game. Yeah, this is at the bowl game. So you can see right that we're ready for
zooming in here.
Yeah. So
this is in the hotel ballroom.
Hotel ballroom.
Video stream.
Yeah, hotel ballroom for us right there. I'm doing the test right there.
Looks like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah,
he does look like Johnny Bravo.
Very Johnny Bravo. I just had some chocolate milk. I base a lot of my happiness on chocolate milk. I get really excited about that. So anyway, McCade Brady, one of my best players, he's working, selling basically almost like door to door right out of college to start the business up, security down in Houston.
Okay.
So he goes to this house. He's at the house and talking. He's like, "Oh wow, that's a bunch of Houston Oiler gear." It's like, "Oh, damn Pastorini gear, huh?" And the lady's like, "Yeah, that's my ex-husband. What do you want? Come in, take anything you want."
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. This is amazing.
Yeah.
How this ties.
So
to
now
our show too.
Comes in.
It's Dan Pastorini's.
What's that? His ex-wife just getting divorced. So she says, "Come wipe the place out, whatever you want." So he was in Dan Pastorini's closet. That's right. The Bum Phillips ball, and Dan Pastorini signed everything. Yeah. So I got that ball.
That.
So yeah.
I won't.
I just took the air out of one during my move, so I just had to get that out last night. So
look at there's the Bum Phillips.
Yeah. I see
Bum
that.
Phillips signature.
But how great is that? One of the ladies, the ex-wife's like, "Yeah, come in, take whatever you want."
That's incredible.
Yeah, got all kinds of stuff.
Dan Pastorini is just one of the most incredible mentions on the show, because I didn't know who it was, and we were going
second best all time.
Tell Bill what
we,
happened.
we were
Bill
doing
doesn't even know
we were
what happened.
doing quarterback trivia, all-time passing leaders for Shut Up Sipple one time, and it was on who was the Oilers / Titans all-time passing leader, and Sip said, "Oh, it's got to be the great Dan Pastorini," who I said I've never even heard of that guy.
Yeah, Schaefer Mike.
Yeah, Mike Schaefer hadn't either.
And they hadn't heard of him.
Number 7, Dante.
And so we laughed like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then we realized he's pretty good.
They thought I was making somebody up.
That's got to be the great Dan Pastorini.
Probably one of the greatest combinations ever in NFL history is him to Billy White Shoes Johnson, number 84. That would be probably iconic football.
It was iconic back in the day.
See, now you got someone backing you up here.
Yeah,
it wasn't a ridiculous takeout.
We'll revisit this with Schaefer
we
Mike.
Will. He'll be here in an hour.
Yeah,
right here.
1970. But anyway, the story, which was kind of cool, was that my ex-player knew everything. And so he's like rattling stuff off to her, like, oh, yeah, Curly Culp. Oh, yeah, wow, what a player.
Curly Culp.
Yeah. Oh, this goes through everybody at that. And she's like, hey, come on in, man.
That's amazing.
So he's just hanging out in Dan Pastorini's old closet, just taking stuff.
With the X.
Yeah, with the X.
That's amazing. They had another good receiver, by the way, Houston, besides Billy White Shoes Johnson. They had
what? 0 Burrow. Or 00, not zero.
Say the first name, please.
Not sure. Is it Ken?
Ken Burrow. I think that's right.
I think that's right.
Coffee talk.
Okay.
Hand to God.
Yeah. 1978. Love you, Blue.
Yeah.
Love you, Blue. That was. So now I'm out of football now. I'm out of NFL football.
Yeah.
I didn't transfer to the Titans. I'm not a Texan.
Didn't join.
So I'm done. Yeah, it's done. But I am on a Houston Oilers website that pops up on my feed all the time. So I do have a lot of gear like that. And if I do have a cocktail, it's in a Houston.
Oh, really?
Like you rooting for the Titans when they played in the 2000 or the 99 Super Bowl?
Absolutely not. I mean, I didn't care. Actually, I was rooting for them just out of randomness, but it wasn't like those are my guys. It's
but they were your guys.
No, they're not. No, it's Love You Blue. It's Love You Blue, and that's all there is to it. There is no there's no song. Sing the Titans song for me, because I can sing the Oilers song if I had to.
Houston
Oilers, Houston Oilers, Houston Oilers number 1.
That's the
got
Dolphins
the
song.
Offense. We got the defense.
Same.
Yeah. I'm not sure who stole it from who. The Dolphins got the same fight song.
No, I guarantee it was stolen from the Oilers. It was Love You Blue. Look at that. They had pom-pom. There's no one in the NFL history. They have pom-poms. Google
Houston Oilers sounds better than my hand.
Hey, does this sound familiar to you, Bill? Huh? Does this sound right?
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. We're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins number 1.
Sounds pretty similar, doesn't it? What you were singing? Did you pull up the Houston song?
I don't have it.
Of course it was, yes.
That is idle chit chat.
I know one thing Bum Phillips did. He knew when it was 4th and 1. Give the ball to Earl Campbell.
So did Don Shula. Hey, Don Shula
didn't freeze.
too.
He didn't freeze up. Yeah, gives
you
off
have
to
a
the ball.
clown for a coach. Let's just.
I don't care. Don Shula was not a clown.
No, he was not.
In the same era, they were great coaches.
No, Shula and Bum
Phillips, great coaches.
Yeah, I give Shula the nod on that
Oh
one.
yeah,
no defense.
Undefeated season,
they did throw an undefeated.
It's a tough one. It's hard to argue that one.
Tough that one, isn't it? Yeah,
a little tough.
That's tough.
A little hard on that one. I agree.
Are you hot in here?
No, I'm not, because I have the air conditioner right on me. Jay keeps it right at 62 on me.
70 degrees.
Right at that.
Hey, that's Idle Chit Chat, sponsored by Newton's Lawn Care.
Good idle chit.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. That was great. All right, back to basketball. Then we have some breaking news to get to in a second because we care about Nebraska.
Now, what are we going to do with this basketball thing?
So here's the deal. I sent you guys an article that came out right before the game.
Yes, you did.
But Trev Alberts was speaking to the media regarding Fred Hoiberg and the future. Now, here's the deal. Again, to recap last night, Nebraska loses to Michigan 93-72. They allow 46 points in the first half, 47 in the second. Michigan shot 57% for the game. Incredible efficiency. 68% in the first half, 50% in the second half. Nebraska, Tominaga, another good game, 24 points. Derek Walker, 15 points. Sam Griesel, 9. They had a lot of, a bunch of guys score, but here's the deal. Michigan had 6 guys in double-digit scoring, led by Jet Howard, who had 22 points. I mean, Nebraska had no answers defensively for Michigan. 14 made threes but for the Wolverines, 7 for Nebraska. It was complete domination, despite Nebraska getting within 9-10 points in the second half. You could tell it was inevitably going to become a Michigan win comfortably.
Pretty much.
It felt
yeah,
like that.
Pretty much. I mean, Nebraska, as you
They weren't
say,
getting back in that game.
well, they got it to
But
10.
I'm saying they were not going to get like to 3 points.
I don't. Yeah,
It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
Hand to God.
I can't disagree.
So Nebraska falls to 11-14 overall, 4-10 in conference play. And yeah, per Husker Extra before the game, this came out that Trev Alberts said that.
Go ahead. Bill hasn't seen this, so it's interesting.
Okay. He says Nebraska has made very consistent progress this season in a total philosophical reboot of the program. Trev Alberts, quote, "It's undeniable the progress that Fred and his staff have made. The staff additions he made as he recreated his staff has been really, really good. Our team is really enjoyable to watch."
It was bad timing for Trev because it was 41-17, and Michigan's 7'1" center hadn't scored or had a rebound yet, and it was 41-17. That's Hunter Dickinson.
Hunter
Keep
Dickinson.
going,
Yep.
keep
Here's more from
Sorry,
Trev
sorry to
Alberts.
interrupt
Quote,
you.
Quote, "I think our team has responded very well to Coach Hoiberg's leadership and changes this year. Do I wish men's basketball had made a similar change 2 years ago in philosophy? Sure. But the change in approach is a 180. He says, and then also regarding, potentially an associate AD for basketball that was discussed by Tom Chattel over the week. He said, "I don't think we're going to add to the administrative bloat," says Trev Alberts. And then regarding going forward, recruiting is going to be really important. Fred knows. So we've just got to keep growing, keep building. These things rarely just flip overnight. I'm interested in watching the compete level the rest of the year, watching the togetherness of the team. Also says one more. He says, quote, "I was in the locker room after the win against Penn State, and it's a really good locker room. There's really good leadership. There's good unity of purpose with coaches and players. So I like the trajectory that Fred's on at the moment."
Wow.
Trev Alberts before the Michigan game on the status of Fred Hoiberg.
One thing that Nebraska fans can all agree on is it doesn't just flip overnight. Because
No, it hasn't.
we can all agree on that. You did skip one thing
Did I
interesting.
skip it there? I skipped a quote.
Asked if Hoiberg was definitively returning for
Oh.
a fifth season. I mean, that's kind of it's
I missed
critical.
that one, yeah.
Asked if Hoiberg was definitively returning for a fifth season, Albert said he doesn't make a habit of declaring such things during the season, although he did so last year with Hoiberg.
Frost.
And he also fired Frost in
Yeah.
mid-flight. So, yeah. Now, okay, so in one sense, the timing of those comments is unfortunate for Trev because I'd say Nebraska laid an egg last night, except the inevitable conversation. Come on, Sip. They kept fighting, which is pretty much the standard now for Nebraska
They
basketball.
didn't give up.
Yeah, they didn't give
They
up.
fought.
Good job. Nice job. Which I always believe that should be just something you don't do, right? I mean, you don't quit.
You got 40 minutes to play a
You
game.
don't get
Just fight.
rewarded a lot. You shouldn't get rewarded a lot for that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. First of all, you got to acknowledge the injuries to Bandamo and Juwan Gary.
Yes.
But you also, this is where you guys chime in. They're going to win some games down the stretch. I think they'll beat Wisconsin. I think they'll beat Minnesota. I think they can beat Michigan State.
That
would
gets
give
you
them
to 7 conference
That would give them
wins.
7 wins.
Be very good.
Do you see it? I see it. I see that path. Tominaga is going. They got Tominaga going at a high level. They're still healthy. They're still playing. They're still playing hard. What do you think?
When you watch him, which I watched the entire game last night, the part that to flip over to the positive side is you don't see any palms up like the worst thing with the teams looking at each other. They're looking at the bench. You're looking at the side. That does mean that you do have a very good locker room from top to bottom, which is impressive. You don't see any bad body language. You
Not
don't
really.
see a bunch of there's no one in each other's face. Everything's very positive. They keep playing hard. They do some different things. It seems like if they do get in a little bit of a bind that to be able to amp up their defense and to get some turnovers, that's a struggle a little bit right for them right now.
It had been.
But
They only had 7 in the last game against Penn State, and then turnovers last night they only had 8. Nice.
Yeah. No, I mean forced turnovers. For the defense, to be able to force turnovers. That's
Michigan had 13 turnovers. Nebraska had 8 last night.
Yeah. So, which is very good. So just to get breakaways, to get some easy points, to get some layups of that sort. But I think they have done a very good job with the demeanor of the team, how they compete, how they're taking coaching. All those things seem to be, very, very positive. So I understand where leadership, said those things that were said yesterday.
I mean, there's a chance that if you look at the schedule, that Nebraska in February, despite the blowout loss last night, you mentioned SIP, they got some home games coming up. They've got Wisconsin this Saturday. They're at Rutgers. They have Maryland and Minnesota back to back at home. Actually, they got 3 straight games to end the month at home: Maryland, Minnesota, Michigan State. There's a chance that you could have a winning record this month. Because, again, the games left, Wisconsin's not scary. They won last night in overtime at Penn State, but they have flaws. They're a flawed basketball team. Rutgers will be a tough game on the road. Not expecting a lot there. But Maryland is a team that is good. I think they're beatable, but do I expect to win that game? Probably not.
Probably a close game, though.
Minnesota, you expect to win that game. Minnesota is the worst team in the conference. They are. You have to win that game. That's a must win.
They will.
Even though you're not going anywhere, that's a must win.
They'll win that game.
Michigan State is a winnable game. I mean, those are winnable. And then you go to Iowa to end the season, to start off March. So there's a chance. There's a chance for a winning record in February.
These guys know that. These players know that. They're still playing. Now, the conversation to me, in some ways, predictably boring, and in some ways, sort of fascinating. I mean, Fred's record now in the Big Ten, and I mention it every time because it's the key data point in my mind. His record in the Big Ten is 13-60. 13-60. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
you can't hide from that. You can't run from that.
No, the people that say I'm being too negative on – okay, I just want to ask you people a question.
You people.
What do you do with 13-60? How do you explain that away? How do you rationalize that one in your head?
I would put more rationalization in what the last 2 years would be. First two wouldn't. You're coming in.
Last two?
But that's what I would look at. Yeah. So if you asked the question,
what
would you look
16 in the league last year?
With winning 3 straight games to end the season to get to 4,
which isn't great. But my point is that's what I would look at. I would look at the last 2 years. I wouldn't take the whole 4 for what he came into, all the situation. I would say where are you at, because year 3. That's your year 3. Yeah. So that's you should have a little self more established. So I would look at the record of where do you stand in your last 2 years?
8-26, I guess.
And I think, if people watch Big Ten basketball, you realize this year is not a great year for the conference. I mean, there's still good basketball teams, but you've got 2 teams ranked right now. You've got Rutgers at 24th, and you've got Purdue at obviously number 1. Best team in basketball in the
Rutgers.
Big Ten.
I don't know if they're hardly even will be a team that will be in the ratings anymore, with they lost the good player to the injured ACL, so they've lost a major talent off their roster. So I don't believe they're a top 25 team. Probably after in the next, I see them being a tournament team. The top 25 team will probably down to just Purdue 1, and that's it.
It's interesting, the league, because Michigan's in second place right now
at 14-10,
and they're not a tournament team. Now they're going to have a bunch of tournament teams in this league, but you guys are right. This is not a strong year for the league. So Nebraska's catching a break in that regard. So
you've got more conference. You're going to get maybe up to 7 conference wins. You have 4 right now. But what does that mean in a year that was down for the Big Ten?
I don't know. I mean,
that you finally got some sort of momentum, but the league was not that strong.
This is good coffee talk because we're saying the Big Ten's not that strong, but I think we all agree it's still the Big Ten. It's still tough.
Every game is a good game.
Yeah.
There's only one team that's super struggling. That's Minnesota.
They're bad. They're very
so bad. I would shy away from it's a down year.
Right.
I'd say it's still the Big Ten. It's still, that's just, I mean, SEC down year. No, you got to play with these teams you're playing. The same thing that Michigan State's recruited well for the last 25 years.
Totally.
I mean, Michigan's played. I mean, all these. I mean, Michigan's been in national championship games. So I mean, whatever. The Big Ten is very strong, but it is. There's going to be a couple teams in the Final Four. Sure, doesn't look like that whatsoever.